who is the executive, well, not the executive director. He is the lead attorney of the ACLU of Hawaii. I'm sure the Superfund Land Museum is not his thing.
Why is he going to be listening to the show tonight?
No, I mean, I know
good.
he won't, but like, it's just kind of funny because like this, I know a Daniel Gluck. I mean, how many Daniel Glucks are there?
At least 2, I think.
Yes. Do we know that now?
Yes. Looks like we're live. We're all, our handsomeness is streaming. Or mine, at least. I'm posting.
Excellent.
I'm posting there.
Yes, and so yes.
Okay, where people may see us on Twitter or the Clav or the Facebooks.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
All right,
Oh my
I
God.
can't even. Rick, seriously? Okay.
You're frozen
Me?
in time. We should just have you do the show that way.
I'm frozen?
Mm-hmm. I just leave it. It's pretty good.
It's good looking frozen. One of your fingers is up, but it's all right.
And your mouth is wide open. Hey, Brian Frober, how you doing tonight?
We got Rod McLarge.
Like,
Hello,
I'm
lad.
Rod McLarge. Hello, lad. Tonight is, we have a theme night for our cocktails.
Yes.
Mark, tell us about the theme night.
Yes. So tonight we are having Quarantinis with Jim Bodini.
Quarantini
good
to
ring to that.
Jim Bodini.
Yes, this is where you make a martini with whatever is in your house. You know, the ingredients of, I call it the components of food. Like my wife's like, what are we going to eat? And I'm like, well, what components do we have? And then we'll marry it all together. So this martini is, what are these things called? These are like giant, do you know these things? They're like, I call them escapers, but they're capers, right?
Oh yeah,
giant capers. Yeah, capers that fall off of your bagel are escapers. So feel free to share that.
excellent.
I don't know. It's a cold open, so don't expect anything. Wait, are you going to play something during this cold open that's cool?
Yeah. I was just gonna wait for like 3 other people to join. We're doing pretty good. I hope
So we hit,
everybody
like,
is
200?
staying healthy. Yeah, we got our quarantinis, dude. Andy Baldwin. He'd like to see our quarantinis. Mine is basically vodka. And I did have a French martini, but it was too sweet. So I got rid of it.
Mine's a dirty Quarantini.
I'm out of olives. I should have gotten olives,
I
but they were,
cheated.
you know.
I just made an old fashioned.
Nice.
So
It's classy. Old-fashioned teeny. No, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. It could. Yeah, there's something. Yeah.
Something. Let me find out. Hold on. Give me a minute.
Tonight, everything is a quarantini. It doesn't matter what it is.
It's true.
Oh, man. Okay. We're on mute. Everything's great.
We're on
Everything's
mute?
great. No, my phone. I mean, I unplugged Alexa.
Oh, yeah.
And
My phone is somewhere around here,
I
too.
disabled Google and and I told Siri to go to hell. So we're good.
Yes.
I made a special effort not to open up my soundboard tonight, so I don't need to worry about.
I like your soundboard.
No, you wouldn't like it on this show.
Well, it's all right. I do.
You only need one engineer.
Right, one producer. We're looking for a producer. Okay, producer. Hey, I produced the show. Remember that time when we had Nolan Bushnell on and you were wondering how we were going to close the show?
Thank God you woke up.
That was because I fucking woke up and closed the show.
We were so lucky.
Oh my gosh.
I did not even know that he'd fallen asleep because I had minimized his window. Or he cleaned
Maybe
it.
if you don't see it, no one else will.
Right.
Well, I wanted to focus on Nolan and then give him my full attention. So that worked.
Yeah. All right, well, let's... oh, crap, I just reorganized my desktop.
It's a bunch of stuff.
I have... This has to be over here.
COVID-19, it's affecting everything, including Adam's desktop.
Right. You got a virus on your laptop.
It turns out there's no cure for it right now.
Oh.
Apparently, COVID-19 is the common cold derivative. Am I correct?
No, is it?
It is a cold derivative.
Oh.
So,
That's part of what makes it so dangerous.
Because there's no vaccine for the common cold.
Well, we never really worked on one, right? So, because people get colds and they get better, so we don't really worry about it. Whereas the flu vaccines were going on for a while, which is why H1N1 wasn't. It was bad, but like we were already partway down that pathway. We just needed different markers. But the cold is a kind of different beast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's an interesting one to say the least.
At least.
So,
am I supposed to have anything queued up for like Back to the Cade?
You don't have to.
There's a
You can
video.
do whatever you want.
I'll get that queued up.
That's fine. It's funny. I actually caught the swine flu in 2009. I was in the University of Minnesota marching band, and we were all sharing doors and other things that we touched. And so there was even this thing that we would do when we'd walk out of the men's locker room. We would slap like this poster, and so that was a mistake. We should not have been doing that. Like 40 of us got totally sick, and so it was either that or I was at Augie's in downtown Minneapolis. Has anybody been to Augie's?
There seems to be a theme here. So is this why you moved to Texas?
No,
You're getting sick so much in Minnesota.
That was 6 years before I moved. So
Just-
anyway, I
Okay.
was at Augie's, and this one stripper totally like shoved my head into her. And then I'm like, I hope nobody else has been here. And then literally 2 days later, I got sick. So I can't figure out if it was the marching band or
it was either the
Augie's.
swine flu or gonorrhea, but
Oh
it was
my
one or the other.
No, it was definitely the swine flu.
Oh shit!
I don't know.
We
I don't even know if
we called
Augie's
that
is still
one
there.
the swine flu.
Yeah, and you know what? This will be the one episode my mom listens to.
Hello, Mrs.
Coyer, Stevens.
Coyer, okay, good. I'm just
whatever
making
your
sure.
name is.
It could be an episode that a lot of people.
Actually, she
tune
changed her
into.
name because she got remarried, so she can claim anonymity. She doesn't have to frickin' know.
Right.
Doesn't matter
Magic
who
key.
I am. That's why I change my name every week.
Who are you this week?
Do you guys remember the game Shuffle Puck Cafe for the Mac?
Yes.
And
Was
and one of your opponents was an alien with a cocktail. He was
Yes.
He was super good until you beat him like 2 or 3 times because he took
And
a
then he
drink.
got more and more drunk.
Actually, till he beat you 3 or 4 times, right? Because he would beat you,
Yeah.
take a drink, and he'd get successively worse.
That was a great game.
It was an awesome game. They should turn that into an arcade game.
For sure.
Sounds like
Let's do
Chug
it.
Monkey on Megatouch.
Oh my! If you haven't played Shuffle Puck Cafe, you are missing out.
Let's talk to Wyo. Maybe he can make something.
There's a Famicom version
nice.
too. There was one for the Famicom, so you can actually play it on an NES.
It's just like a regular arcade game when he makes it, except for it's sticky and it smells like vomit. So I don't
Gross.
know. We're riffing.
Oh my God! Some of these songs are awful.
Oh,
That-
come on. I tried to focus on hair bands, dude.
Well, that's good because we haven't had a hairband theme in forever. So
I'll have to tell Susan to listen tonight.
yeah,
yeah, good.
she'd probably like that. You know. Yeah. So and I gotta make sure to put the right one of that. Well, did you put 11 in? I might have to choose a different.
There are 11, yes, I think so.
Okay. All right. Well, let's. I'll worry about that in a minute. We got plenty to talk about. So, yeah. We should get.
What's going on?
We should get this podcast going so everybody can listen to it.
Okay, Chris. Sad.
Sad. You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon, old man.
I
have no-
one of
Go ahead.
One of my new favorite lines from a movie is the end of Indiana Jones, where we have the best people working on it. What best people? Or what? No, we have people working on it. What people? The best people. Because it plays at the end of the game every time of Indiana Jones pinball. They wheel the little cart off into the distance.
Nice.
All right, here we go.
Love that song.
From KOYR Studios in Minneapolis, Minnesota, this is Arcade Radio.
Hello, Commander. Computer reporting.
Intruder alert, intruder alert. Stimulate opponent.
Oh, hello and welcome to Season 4, Episode 12 of the Arcade Radio Podcast. Today is Thursday, March 19th, 2020, and the time is approximately now 7:30 p.m. Central. Thanks for joining us in the Arcadisphere. This is your host, Adam Social Distancenberg. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Mark, Time to Run and Wash Your Hands, Shields, and Paradise Arcade Shop Proprietor, Expert Self-Isolator, Brian Thurston Howell Armitage III, and joining us tonight, longtime host and contributor of the Arcade Hangout Podcast, the world's longest running live arcade podcast so far, and the Rockola Eyes arcade game world record holder. Ladies and germs, we are pleased to present to you Mr. Jim Bodeenny.
Hello, hello.
Oh, yes,
hey,
yes.
Minnesota.
Golf clap.
Well, Minnesota natives. Mark, you're.
Hey, I'm married into it, so I'm half in.
All right.
One of my body parts is definitely in Minnesota.
All right.
All right.
And on that note,
Brian is still frozen. That's from the
That's right.
chat.
It froze on a really crystal clear image of him,
Yeah,
though.
right.
So.
You might as well
Almost
just
see
leave
into his
it.
mouth.
I can
Yeah.
turn it on and off if you want me to read that up. I mean,
No,
we can
no.
get some expression here.
Del, you do what you want to do, but this is
And
pretty
the audio
funny.
sounds great too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
crystal clear.
You sound great.
It's like you're like a news anchor, and
Yeah.
you're
in the
you're
field.
talking to someone in the field
Yeah.
that the weather's really bad or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
I'm actually a ventriloquist. I can speak without moving my lips. So I am moving there. I'm just practicing this new talent,
That's good times. All right, let's start with what you've been working on. Why don't we kick it off with Mark Shields?
Damn it. Well, I have been slowly working on my elevator action, which is in a Jungle Hunt cabinet. I actually have two of them in my garage. I rebuilt the base, so I'm learning how to work with the wood. And I haven't decided if I'm going to transplant the good stuff out of one into the other one, or I'm going to make them both work or whatever. I mean, ideally, I think I should at least try to get one like beautiful and then the other one good enough to sell to somebody. So anyway, that's really all I've been doing. I got black paint on my leg and it won't come off.
Oh, that's always fun. I got blue paint on my carpet and had to replace the carpet. Well, what do you do?
You should get black carpet. Problem solved.
I guess I'll go next on that. It's a good segue. I actually have new carpet in my console room. The console room's coming around nicely. So I just bought this sort of teak Danish entertainment center thing that is housing all of my vintage televisions and boom boxes. So I have this sort of display in there now. And so I have this old MGA Mitsubishi TV. I found the remote, which is like a 6-button remote, 1978 that TV was made in. So, and I've got my RF modular hooked up. I got my GameCube going, and I just tested out a Super Breakaway Pong-like game. So it plays Breakout, it plays a video pinball, and it plays a version of basketball. That's horrible. But it's super, super fun. That's also like vintage 1975. It's a Sears telegame. It's beautiful. I should post some pictures on the Arcade Radio Facebook page. Haven't had a whole lot of time to work on the arcade, but I did add to the basement 4 theater chairs. So fully power recline, LED lit theater chairs, and I've already watched a couple movies down there. It's super fun. And I have 5 and 6 arcade games in the 2 new arcade rooms, and with Brian's help, I have expanded the arcade. So we're looking forward to opening when the curve flattens from COVID-19, here at Adams Arcade. And you'll notice tonight, I am not wearing an Arcade Radio t-shirt. I think it's the first time I have not worn an Arcade Radio t-shirt in probably a couple seasons.
I'm wearing the shirt that I wore at the time that I was at your party with Jim Bo, and we took that photo.
That's hilarious.
I was gonna wear the jacket, but it's hot because I'm in Texas.
That's a good photo. That was fun. You had that Polaroid camera going around.
Yeah. It only took like 15 minutes for that old Polaroid to come.
Can anybody guess why I'm? Yeah, I know, it was hilarious. You shake it like a Polaroid picture. So, can anyone guess why I'm wearing this Goonies t-shirt?
Is it because Jimbo was live streaming the Goonies game last Friday?
No, that's just a coincidence. I didn't actually think of that, but it is, which is cool.
I would like to believe that's why he's wearing it.
Was it because of Corey Feldman's new release that just came out, where he talked about all the people who touched him? Or no,
no,
oh, it's not.
No,
I'm sorry.
No, that's terrible.
Keep going.
It's oh my god, this is
everybody who touched him got a free Goonies shirt.
Oh.
It has to do with COVID-19, and there's a saying that I always like to use from the film, because I feel like it's a mantra for the Generation X kids that grew up with this type of thing. But the thing I love about this movie the most is the Goonies mantra, which is Goonies never say die. So hang in there, stay healthy, and never say die. Okay. All right, that's why I'm wearing it. Super
I like it. That's what I'm wearing at.
Speaking of dying and people in hospitals, Brian, what are you up to?
Yeah.
When I'm trying to stay out of the hospital as much as possible, it's actually kind of funny right now. So they have us on, just a little aside, on this trauma thing where we basically go in, operate, and then leave. And we've been told not to stick around, not to be around people. And because they don't want us getting sick because we're the people who are doing the surgery. So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of like my dream job. Don't have to deal with all the bullshit. Just show up, operate, and then get to go home.
Nice.
Well, Adam just pulled a John Jacobson. He asked you what's new, and then he walked away.
Oh, shit. He'll do that at least 4 times.
Let's see. So let's see if somebody in the chat can guess. Like we did this before with you guys. You guys know what this is, but we'll see if anybody in the chat knows kind of what this is. So here you go.
Now, that neck board's a little bit of a giveaway that it has to do with the monitor. It has to do with the monitor, so we know that.
But I mean, that's not too much of a giveaway. So that's one of the projects. So I will say it now because the guys will have a little delay here, that we are working on my PAT 9000, getting the 13-inch ampliphone going. So that's something that we've been assembling. I have scanned. Actually, I've got the other piece up here. Let's see. I've got like all sorts of fun toys. Is what happens when I'm at the shop. Here's another thing that we've worked on. Actually, we've stripped this down, scanned it, and this should
the
be
world's
done.
worst Pac-Man daughter board. Okay.
No, this is actually a Bally Senti 14 ROM board, which I expect to have these in hand next week. So this can become chicken shift.
Nice.
Did you just call me chicken shit?
You chicken. What?
Yeah.
No.
I'm
bring
chicken
it.
shit.
Man, bring it.
Shift.
I am tired of your lip. You know what? I'm tired of your attitude on this show.
I have way too much attitude.
You-
Let's see.
You can suck it, Trebek. You could just suck it.
I just picked up my Centaur from Mark, who repaired it, and have been having a blast playing that game, which has been
welcome.
Wonderful.
Yeah, by the
So
way.
new playfield, and it
Send
is
all your
gorgeous.
board repairs to Mark, Time Runner.
There you go.
And
just whole pinball machines.
I will get them out in 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, let's not get Mark Shields confused with Mark Meyer.
Yeah.
So Mark Meyer,
what
local
else
operator, technician, actually really not really an operator, pretty much the lead technician at Lieberman Companies here in town, retired, and now one of his favorite things to do is to do pinball swaps for people. So playfield swaps. So
Man.
if you...
Wow.
Am I spilling? Yeah. So, yeah, he did my Xenon, and I did Brian's Centaur, which I called.
Doesn't that take like 30 or like 20, 30 hours to do? Isn't it a ridiculous amount of time?
He told me that he spent 40 hours on the Centaur.
Ugh.
But yours was 2 Centaurs.
So for like 40 hours of your time, what's a price? Like
Let's not talk. Let's not.
I don't want to say what he's charging, because then everybody's going to be bringing pinball machines to Minnesota. So I have 4 more that need to get done.
Yeah.
So that'll give you an idea of the price.
Yeah.
And then when that's done, we'll discuss the price.
Well, okay. Does that really give you an idea of the price when we're talking about an orthopedic surgeon here? I'm not really so sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Bill Gates.
Whatever. Yeah, philanthropist.
Jeff Bezos, dude. Whatever.
I wish.
Yeah, I don't know.
And finally, the last thing I'm working on is I just got in my ruins for the Path of Adventure for my Indiana Jones that I picked up.
Sup,
So,
Jason?
They have these like special ruins like guides instead of the red plastic, and so it looks like the rocks and the glyphs from the movie. It's really cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Spent way too much money on that. Susan saw that bill, and that was not a good night. But it looks awesome. So there we go.
Arcade Jason in the chat, and Steve Taki.
Jason has been doing some freaking amazing stuff lately. I mean, we need to get him on the show. We can't even touch the stuff he's been doing lately.
Facebook posts of like new things that new set of boards that he
Hey,
designed.
Jason might be making a little bit of triac board for the APBs. I sent him.
He just learned how not to sleep. It's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he ever slept. He learned. Yeah, I think he finally picked up Eagle.
Jason was one of the kind fellows who text messaged me in the middle of the night when I woke up from all the alcohol converting to sugar in my system on the night Nolan Bushnell was in the show.
Oh, yeah. I actually have an original copy of that video. If anybody wants it, just text me later.
I also have
what do you call that cut?
I call that I have a lawyer retained if you do that.
I call it the Sleepies cut.
Yep.
Mark, we can make T-shirts.
Yes. They all look like this.
Oh my God.
And then just put arcade radio.
I guess I opened my mouth, didn't I? Okay, so anyway.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
All right, moving on to the guest, what he might have been or not working on. Jim Bodini, Mr. James Dinndorf. Welcome to the show again. And so what have you been working on?
A few things actually. It's crazy because I hadn't for a long time had any projects, but I just and I know the marquee's blown out, but I just finished restoring Gap Plus behind me.
Nice.
And I was super excited. Actually, that's the quickest restore I've ever done. That I'll get to. The reason for I'll get to in a second. But
Okay.
I hammered that out in 2 months. It had a broken off corner. I did laminate, did the full vinyl set. And part of the reason that I wanted to get that done quickly is because for Christmas, Carrie, that you had on, bought me a Galga 88 board that I had on my want list since like Grinkers 3. And so I put a JAMA switcher in there since that's a JAMA board and got a JAMA adapter for Gap Plus. And so I've got both of those in there right now. So I finished that. And then when Carrie was up like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I've wanted to, for the longest time, put up brick peel and stick wallpaper, and because I'm in an apartment and I'm sick of a white wall. So he lined up this whole wall. I wish I could show you, but like it goes, well, I can kind of, it goes from way off into a kitchen area all the way over to where like my TV is. So that was a full day's worth of work. And then I added, go ahead.
How many pieces of that is involved?
So they come in, it's 196 inches by 17, and it's vertical. So you're working with a strip like this. So I bought 11 rolls. Okay. And they're about $14 a pop.
196 divided by 12, carry the one. I can't. I don't know. 16 feet, Jesus.
Yeah, so it's actually about 32 feet. So I ended up with one extra roll. We only had to redo one, so it was like the perfect amount of peeling, and it doesn't leave a residue. So if I ever want to remove it, it doesn't leave anything. It's basically like your adhesive vinyl, you know.
Nice, so cool.
So we spent the whole day doing that, and then I bought LED tape strips to go behind all my games to backlight them, and then I can control the colors and stuff, you know, if I wanted red.
My God.
Or
that
you know,
is
if you want to cycle through them, you can, you know, whatever. But I ended up liking, coincidentally, I was going to do red because I was like, Grinkers is awesome.
Yes,
I like the red.
Of course.
Me too.
For some reason, that doesn't bring out brick very well. So I ended up with this color. It's like teal.
You know what? You're right. You're right. It does not.
Like a cooler color actually complements it more than red.
So my new chairs in the basement have blue LEDs and they're not changeable. So I'm going to probably figure out how to do that because, you know, you should be able to change them. So, but the arcade lights, I change them to red all the time because of Grinkers. I love that. It looks.
It's so good, and it doesn't take anything you can see, and it doesn't take anything away from that dark atmosphere.
Right. I totally agree.
Perfect for that. But I was so surprised as soon as I turned on red, it like washed all the brick out. Yeah. So I'm like, Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah. It's interesting too because Carrie ran into the same thing with her garage. She ended up she's got LEDs on the roof of her garage, and she uses like a blue, and that seems to work better than anything else. So we both ended up on a different color scheme than we originally thought. But yeah, it changes everything so much. I love it. Every time, like I'm still not entirely used to it. I walk in, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. That's about all I've got.
So Carrie was on the show, one of the few female guests on the show. We love her. She's awesome.
She doesn't suck.
Yeah, no.
That's
very
her
good
phrase.
I don't know what to say after that. But anyways, what I like about her is that she's the type of girl that doesn't take any shit, and she holds her own on every subject. I love it. She's good for you. When are you merging this corporation?
What?
Well, as of right now, I have no desire to move to California.
Oh, God, why?
But
especially right now,
I just lost my voice entirely, and I'm out of booze. But no,
She's listening right now, laughing her ass
Yeah.
off.
Oh, she totally is. Yeah. This is the question we get asked all the time, and we're both flexible people. What it comes down to is just our careers, and we're both in law. Like, we both work for the government, for the court system. So it's just, I honestly, I look on average probably twice a month to see what's out there in terms of something that's identical to what I'm doing. And I know she checks periodically too. So we're not in a super hurry, because honestly, this has been working really well for us for the last 3.5 years now.
Yeah, it's great.
So,
I just love seeing you guys together. You're a great couple. So best of luck to you guys. So anything else that you got that you wanted to share about the working on bit?
The only thing is that I'm getting ready to rearrange a few things. If I had known that, I should have known that we were going to be talking about eyes at some point tonight, because I moved the eyes.
Oh, shit.
It's further down the row and you can't even see it now. So I just rearranged the lineup, but part of the reason is I need to move Cheyenne out of the way, because I'm getting ready for my first pinball machine to move in here.
I see a lot of midways together. I like that grouping.
Yeah, that wasn't planned.
Really?
So part of the reason for my lineup is there's only a few, and I'm sure you guys can relate, but monitors play differently with other monitors. And some like to be next to each other. Some games like to be next to each other, and others don't. And this lineup, for whatever reason, works. None of the games have an issue. Now, if I put, like, Eyes has a 4600 in it. If I put that next to a Vision Pro, it starts dancing all over the place. The screen starts doing hulas and all kinds of weird stuff.
Nice.
The 4900 in Cheyenne does not like to be next to a lot of the other games. Mostly, I'm guessing, because the orientation of the monitor is, it's facing up, and so when you put something that's a different orientation next to it, you get it's not the end of the world, but you get these. I have OCD when it comes to monitors, and so you get this little faint vertical black line cycling down the screen. So it plays really well with the midway games for whatever reason. So that's just how it is. K7000s are tanks. They can do whatever. But for whatever reason, 46s and Vision Pros don't like each other.
Wow. I actually don't like my 46. So if you could, maybe this is totally off track, but if you could change out a 4600 for any other monitor.
Geo 7, done.
Yeah, but Geo 7s are hard to come by. Really hard.
Oh my god, I have so many.
Do you really? Can you send me one?
Maybe. I can even send you a chance. Go ahead.
Anyway, Carrie have had this argument before, or this theory, that monitor supply, like types of monitors, is a territorial thing, because she just got her first. She's got more games than I do. She has like 20 some games, and she just got her first Geo 7 in a game.
Yeah, she's
got like 15 4900s. I had never even had a 4900 until like 5 years ago.
4900s,
I had so many
man.
Geo 7s.
They're 4900s are pretty common though. So.
They are, but like I had never even. It just must have just been a fluke thing, because I only had like 2 as of like 5 years ago. Now I have a few more, but I had way more Geo 7s.
So
then again, she doesn't have very many midway games, and midway games love Geo 7s.
What's your favorite Wells Gardner monitor?
7000.
K7. But I mean, they're so common, right? They're easy to repair.
Yeah, and they have really good controls and adjustments, and they're easy to repair. Really good, rock solid monitors. There's not like, it's kind of like Geo 7s in that regard, that there's only so many things that can go wrong. It's really well documented, and you can rebuild them really easily.
The one,
but I like
a step down from that was probably for me is like the 4900. It's like the 7000 took all the best components of the 4900 and then added really awesome controls, because they figured out, because they did a couple of iterations of the 4900, and they had all the different dials and controls on the back, and sometimes they were not, they weren't fully featured. There's different 4900s that have like all the horizontal
Yeah,
and
there's
vertical
like 3
controls.
variations. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's some that
Some
don't.
have the terminals, some have pods,
Yeah.
some don't. Some, yeah.
And so they sort of grew that line, and then they're like, "Screw it, let's just build this whole new thing." And the 7Ks came out, and they're pretty awesome.
They are. I like having all the contrast adjustments and the bright. Like there's a lot of you can really dial the colors in real easily. Now some people like Buffett will argue that the Sanyos are better, but and they are nice monitors. But other than Nintendo games, I don't run across a lot of Sanyos.
Yeah.
And the 7000s are fantastic. They're so easy to swap tubes on, and I think that's why the 19-inch chassis now have become such a hot commodity, because everyone wants to do tube swaps, and they're like the easiest one to do a tube swap for.
Yeah.
Especially I would say even the more rare. Like I've started not hoarding, but I started saving neck boards as I come across them, because the skinny neck ones. That's the most common one. You're going to crack a TV open and you're going to find the CR31 or whatever it is.
Oh, I don't know about that. I find tons of CR23s.
Really?
Interesting.
Oh, yeah. That's like, almost every TV I crack open seems to have a CR23.
Wow. We should like trade back and forth, because all I find are the skinny ones.
Yeah, I have a couple of skinny ones, the CR31s that I don't have tubes for.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
We're off track.
Okay.
We got to get on track. We're so far over time right now.
To the
All right.
news.
All right, here we go.
Good evening. The Arcade News, arcades, pinball, industry alumni, arcade openings, collecting, celebrities, world record holders, operators, coin-op, conventions, new products and gadgets, gamers, the Arcade News.
Germans.
I'm Adam Stevens.
We interrupt. There's been a late development.
And now, the Arcade News with Brian McLeod.
Welcome to the Arcade News. We have a couple of interesting articles tonight. The first one is from Blue Loop. The Museum of Sex offers the Super Funland exhibit. This is an interactive installation featuring 13 humorously explicit games and amusements. They said humorously explicit, and it was like more disturbingly explicit. Did you guys look at this video?
Yeah, there's
No.
Pictures?
It's not safe
Did
for
you
work.
It's so good. Do you see the glory stall?
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
like they literally have it's called glory stalls, and like these little dildos pop out through the holes, and
Oh my God.
people are grabbing them.
Mom, could you please just not listen to the show anymore,
Well,
please?
and then they've got instead of the fortune teller, they've got like RuPaul speaks.
And it's really RuPaul. That's the
Hey,
best
you
part.
guys,
Oh gosh.
Rajav
So-
Shrivin is asking for the
RuPaul
link.
knows all fortune telling.
I guess whatever.
Right.
It's kind of cool. It's kind of funny. There's some novelty in there. It's
Right.
fun.
There's a biometric kissing booth, a 4D tunnel of love. I'm not sure what you're smelling, but
It's a little disturbing. It's a little interesting and a little disturbing all at once.
Of
Moving
course it's
on to the
closed.
next episode of Arcade Radio.
Yeah,
No, we're not talking about episodes of Arcade Radio, are we? Oh my God.
we're not going back to the butt model one.
Oh.
No.
So, anyways, and moving on in the news, because
Yeah.
we're behind and we need to catch up. So Adam always gives me these looks. The next thing is basically a movie. So Insert Coin reveals an arcade nostalgia, revels in arcade nostalgia,
Oh God.
chronicling making of a number of different arcade games. This kind of going through. It's a new film, provides an oral history of the Midway games, as well as Williams games. Goes through creation of NBA Jam.
Wait a
Smash
minute. So
TV.
it's not a making of arcade games. It's a making of arcade game movies, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm speaking quickly.
Yes, you are.
And
And
so
you haven't
they're-
even been drinking, which is,
Right. I don't.
Are you on
I
call?
take your medicine.
I can't for another 7 days, and then I can
Damn
drink
it.
for 2 days, and then I can't drink again for another 10 days.
you need a new
Um,
job.
Who sets those rules?
One that doesn't make you sick. One that makes me
Yeah.
feel like the way I feel when I'm with you.
Oh man.
So one of the things I thought was interesting, and I'm going to make a couple of comments here that are going to make Adam so happy. So they talk about taking real video footage and making that they shot in a, quote, this is the best part, makeshift studio. There was a little misspelling here. Instead of makeshift, they've got their makeshift studio. But what I thought was interesting was this is the same technology they used in, what game was that? There was some game Adam really loved. Oh, that's right, Exterminator.
And Mortal Kombat, and a bunch of other games.
So anyways, interesting article. We'll post it up in the chat, and you can check it out.
Hey, maybe we can reskin Exterminator to have like Lysol wipes and toilet paper. I don't know.
Somebody's gonna put something up that's gonna be like in a video game repurposed like that, where there's like competing for those things. I did see actually a really funny on Twitter. I should have grabbed this. Somebody had there was some lady like passed out in an airport in this funny pose with like one leg out and the other leg underneath, and they like, edited that into Mortal Kombat, which is kind of funny.
She was kind of like
yeah. Like this. Don't go too far. We'll see stuff we don't want to.
Well, my legs are rolled up here, so it's like whatever's gonna happen.
Hey, where's the crotch light? I haven't seen the crotch light in weeks.
Hold on, I'm gonna turn it on. Hold on.
So
there we go.
Yes.
And so I'm gonna now touch on a couple of new products quickly, so we can move on to the back decade. I will actually mention one old product and one new product. For those of you, it says shameless self-promotion. I apologize. We got in 32 boxes of flybacks. So like everybody's out of K7000s and everything. If you want to work on monitors, we've got flybacks. So check out the site if you want that. And then the other shameless self-promotion is, as I pointed out earlier, we will have Chicken Shift, hopefully in about a week. So if people are looking for Senti games, we're going to have it. The 14-ROM board actually plays almost all the Senti games except for the prototypes and the 4-player hat trick.
Paradise Arcade Shop!
Yep, from Paradise Arcade Shop. And I will say one more thing. For those of you who have not looked at Jason's channel, you have got to go see Jason's channel. Because the stuff he's working on now, Jason Kopp, is like Arcade Jason.
We had him on the show once.
Awesome. I mean, I can't say enough. I am trying to avoid his channel because I spend like an hour or two watching all the stuff he's doing every time I get on there. So
for crying out loud.
If you have the time,
my Facebook feed is just like constant posts about like new products that he's that he's doing. It's amazing. Normally I would be like, oh, you post too much, I'm gonna hide you, and then but then like, oh, this is really interesting.
Oh yeah, it's like you start watching, you're like, no, I can't. Damn it, it's like a half hour. It's a good half-hour video.
You know what?
Like, here's the 20-second board I've been working on this week, and I'm like, what the hell is happening?
Exactly.
Yeah, here's a new shipment. Yeah.
So
look what the children from China made.
All right.
He is sending me a couple of boards that I'm going to be doing a color vector setup for Asteroids Deluxe and Battlezone soon. So we'll get on that, and I'll get some videos of that when it gets going. But yeah. That's
all
it.
Right.
Adam needs the "You Got Asteroid" soundbite from National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yeah.
You got asteroids? No, but my dad does.
I
sit on the toilet.
I need to use that. I should
just send you my entire library.
Oh fuck yeah, that'd be great. I mean, yes, that would be fabulous. All right. Okay.
Back in '82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin a quarter mile.
Back to the cave with Time Runner.
Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
Yes, Doc. No, it's temporal mechanics, Doc. It's not gravity. Hey, welcome to Back to the Cave. Today we will venture back to a certain date in 1989, but we're not going to talk about it. First of all, we're gonna sit back and relax. As this Eyewitness News Nightcast story, I think they called, like, they had like they used to have like Eyewitness News like from 10 to 10:30 or 9 to 9:30 depending on your time zone. And then they would have like an extra show because they didn't have Jimmy Kimmel yet. Anyway, so they had this thing called Nightcast, and they made this article, this like video article about video games. They interviewed people in public. They were touching each other. They were touching joysticks, buttons. Hey, you remember what that was like? Remember you could hit the play button? Remember that? Adam, could you play us a little snip of that audio? It's really good.
So those space invaders are getting the better of you, eh? And the only way you can beat Pac-Man is to unplug the machine? Well, have we got the answer for you.
Yeah.
Nightcast reporter Pam Harper is standing by with a live eye and her Nightcast Extra. Everything that
they
you
had
need
to do it
know
live.
to
Let's
win
do it
your
live.
next video game. We can hardly wait, Pam.
Well, Dave, as all the people here know, and anyone who's ever played video games knows, it takes a while to get the hang of any of them. But there are ways that you can stretch your video player to rack up more points and make your games last longer. We consulted a variety of experts and players and spent quite a few quarters to find the winning strategy.
Okay, so I just have to say, this is an awesome video. I'm going to post it in the chat because I did not stream it because the audio would just be out of sync. But every other game is a Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man. It's freaking hilarious. I love it. I'm sorry, what? There was one? Oh, shoot. What? Okay. Yeah, check that out, you guys. I'll play a little bit more of this, and then we'll get to it. Techno. Ooh, Space War. Tail Gunner. Vectors.
There are dozens of different video games running the electronic gamut from A to Z, with every conceivable form of devilish monsters that'll quickly devour you and your quarters if you're not careful. And judging from the numbers, the monsters are winning. Researchers estimate Americans spent up to $8 billion on video games last year.
God dang it. 8 billion.
Wait till she talks about how much Centipede makes per week.
Okay, all right.
That's more than they spent on any other form of entertainment. And they're not just kids' games. More and more adults are getting into the video habit.
I play at least 5 days a week. At least once a day, somewhere,
with my dick.
I'll play a video game.
Just couldn't resist.
The game that started this machine madness was Space Invaders back in 1978. Its popularity revolutionized the video game industry, but players figured out pretty quickly how to wipe out the attacking green aliens. And by the end of 1980, Space Invaders was getting blasted out of first place by asteroids. In this game, your ship must destroy floating rocks and shooting spaceships
awesome
before
game.
they destroy you. The controls here are much more complex, but again, the strategy is fairly simple to figure out. When all the asteroids
first thing is go buy a high score saves kit and turn that thing into a deluxe.
who with a friend scored more than 2 million points gives this advice.
I try to throw away all the rocks and just leave one slow one at the end. Then you wait for those ships to come out and hit those. You get more points by doing that than hitting all the rocks.
2 more tips. Stay in the center and use hyperspace only in emergencies because
only in emergencies.
When you reappear on the screen.
It's interesting they're talking about asteroids, but they have asteroids deluxe up on the screen.
1,000 points on asteroids, still one of the most popular games in any arcade.
An even more successful creature game is Centipede. It's been one of the top money makers ever since it was introduced 10 months ago. An average machine has been bringing in $225 a week.
Holy
it's
shit!
One game that seems to attract a lot of women. In fact, it was designed by a woman at Atari.
It's fast moving. It's exciting. It's not like you're shooting to kill someone. This is the only game I play.
You must try to blast.
Okay, I'm going to cut that off there, but that is one of the best videos we played all season.
I agree.
It's so good. I put the link in the chat. Go check it out. Watch it a few times. Very, very good. Thanks, Mark. That is...
What would be... $225 a week, she said, right?
Yeah, so that's 200.
What would
450.
That be today?
That's $900 a month. In 2 months you'd have your machine paid off, right? Assuming you're paying about $2,000 for the machine.
I wonder what that translates like with the deluxe Raw Thrills games, like Big Buck Hunter HD or some of these other ones. Like, how quickly do they? Because those are what, like $5,000 or whatever.
Oh yeah, and don't even talk to me about like Call of Duty.
How much money was it per week?
$15,000 for the game.
No, No, per week for Centipede. Do you recall?
She said
250. Which I think is low, actually.
So I plugged it into the inflation calculator. In 1983, if I purchased something for $250, in 2020, $650.
Wow.
Yes.
So multiply that times 4 weeks.
Times 4, 650 by 4. You know what? $2,500.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's
That's
about
decent.
it's about right. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just
incredible.
I mean, if this is behind the curve too, this is like 83. So if you look back to like 1981, 82, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get into the debate, but I've bought tokens and they are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But when you can fill an entire, when you can get 4,000 tokens into a coin bucket of a Miss Pac-Man machine, that's a crap ton of money. It's not $225.
It's $1,000 at least.
Yeah. So
I remember. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. Like, I think this is probably towards the end of the era, right? If we're talking in '83.
Yeah.
When did Centipede come out? 81?
I think it's 81 or 80. 81.
I think. Yeah.
Well, she said it was 11 months that it had come out, so they figured this video was either early 2003 or
1983.
1983.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been drinking.
Good.
Yeah.
I feel right at
late 1982 is what they're saying in the.
Yeah. So I mean it's fascinating to me because I've heard other stories about other games making way more money in just under a week. So I think that number is low, actually.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I know when my first game was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the coin bucket and that thing's ginormous, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like just deep, and I was on a bowling league, and we would play little like poker games with, depending on how many strikes and stuff you got, you'd get quarters and things. So I would end up coming home because at the time I was a decent bowler, and I'd come home with a bunch of quarters, and I would just I'd use that as my piggy bank, and I maybe got like the bottom of that, like this deep with quarters, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bring this to the bank, and it was like $350. Just much, and that thing's like this deep.
Yeah.
And I use that for my Tetris.
That's sweet.
I actually got it from Ross Mackey. You probably know who he is.
Oh yeah, everybody knows who Ross Mackey is. You know what? I gotta say, the first monitor I ever bought was from Ross Mackey, and I did not have any monitor work done by Chris Rhodes prior to buying that from. Anyway, so Mark, are we on to it?
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
What is in the juke? Hello and welcome to What's in the Juke. This is the game that you've all been waiting for. We play just a few seconds of some song that came out in the 80s.
And then we get banned.
Yes, hope to God somebody in the chat recognizes either either recognizes the artist or the song's title. If you can guess half of that, you will get half a point.
Half point.
That's correct. If you can guess the song and the artist, you get a full point.
Full point.
It's great. It's awesome. So here we begin. Adam is at the controls right now, ready to play a tiny snippet of the song, hoping to God again that the people in the chat can answer this, because the people that are listening to, yes, sir, the people that listen to the podcast have no chance of winning.
Should we give out prizes? No.
Yes.
I don't have any prizes.
Oh, look.
I do.
What do you have to give out?
Somebody's been to Hawaii.
We have 50 pounds of Hawaiian chocolate.
Are you going to give out? Are you going to give out some chocolate tonight? So the top three winners. Top three winners get chocolate.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, nice. Chatters. As you heard that, you're getting some chocolate tonight. I'm gonna get some chocolate. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you some chocolate.
Get it up. Or if this bastard doesn't call me back and tell me where he lives, you may get this in 4th place. Yeah.
I'm just telling you right now, we're not doing any Rickrolling. We're largely a hairband theme tonight, and the year is 1989. So let's 89. But I thought this song was like way earlier than 89. Here we go.
That's why I picked it, dude. It's a classic early 80s sounding song, right?
It is. It's very early. So that was the first clip. I might play a little bit more of that, but in the middle maybe, you know.
Okay, sure, why not?
Second Chance. Holy crap. Look at that. Gabriella 2383. Oh, I like her. Huh. We have a girl in the chat?
That's right. And did Gleek get 38 special?
Gabriella, what's your phone number? What's your digits? Okay, so this is good. We got Arcade Jason, Mike Gleek, and Gabriella all weighing in. Mike Gleek gets the 38 special, and Gabriella gets the Second Chance. Am I right?
You're correct.
All right. Half point for both those people. Thanks for playing. The next song is...
Oh, yeah.
What do you think of that? That's a great intro.
Oh, my God. Oh, my
Mike
Bon.
Gleek is in with Bon Jovi. Mike Gleek is in for a full point. He wins both of those.
Way to go, Gleek.
Nice work. Okay, next song. Everybody's going to love this one. I know I do. There's a whole lot of sampling in this.
Just listening to this in the OR yesterday.
Holy crap, everybody gets Def Leppard. I want to give a half point to everybody who said Def Leppard. Look at that. That's just freaking awesome.
That's insane.
Half point. Get a Def Leppard. You get a Def Leppard.
You get a Def Leppard. You get a Def Leppard. And Mr. Peabody Gabriella. Nope, Brian Frober gets Rocket.
He got Def Leppard.
Oh.
And Rocket. Holy moly.
I love Steve Murphy says Aldo Novo.
That's awesome. Okay.
Full point.
Half point for somebody. All right. Mark, you keeping track?
Brian got the full.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, Brian got a point for that.
Boy, this song is a total 180 from all these other songs.
Why did...
I'm just saying.
Wow.
Holy crap. Steve Taki. Boom. Erasure. And what? A little respect. Steve Taki. Full point. Am I right?
Yes.
Full point.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Okay, next song. That's all I'm playing. I'm sorry. You don't need any more of that.
God. Come on.
Yeah, right? If anybody doesn't get this, you're fired. Right? GNR is correct.
GNR.
Steve Taki's up in there, and we got Paradise City, Mike Gleek. I'm going to give him the other half point. I think for both those guys. What do you guys think? Okay, here we go. Next song. Oh, that's all. That's all you get out of that one. Oh my gosh, 1989 was evil on the charts. I totally love. It's the American Top 40 with Shadow Stevens because Casey had quit by that time. Okay, so that's Paul Abdul and
right.
Boom. That was Brian Frober.
Good day, sir.
Straight up, Mike
Straight
Gleek.
up.
Mike Gleek gets another. Right?
Gleek got that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Half point for both those boys.
Not bad. Fober and Taki and Gleek tied.
Let's do it.
I love this song. So, I got a bonus track in here.
I
by the
love
way.
that story.
Sure.
Let's do it.
Okay, Gleek's in first place. Let me correct that. So classic.
Yeah, it's all sampled, so we should not get nicked for this because the whole freaking song is like another song.
That is threading the needle, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
So Brian Frober, Tone Loc. The next is Wild Thing. Mark Capps is on the board with half.
All right,
point.
Mark Capps.
Yes.
Good name, Mark.
All right. Way to go. All right. Here we go. This is a tougher one. Band from Minnesota hit it big in New York. Here we go.
It is useless to resist us.
Wait a minute. Listen to this.
Let's do
Can't believe it for Minnesota. No.
It is useless to resist us.
They're very similar.
It's relying on Steve.
Oh my God. I can't believe people are getting this. I am in awe. Brian Frober is up in front with Information Society. The song is...
Brian Frober cheats.
He's cheating. He's like using his freaking... Like, he's got like Shazam up.
Soundhound.
Yeah, Soundhound, which is my favorite. Soundhound, because I think it was the first one, right? And then Shazam came later. Shazam! All right, so we got a half point in the house for Brian Frober. And who got the song?
Steve Taki.
Steve Taki gets a half point. So
All
that's
right,
pretty
Houston
sweet.
represent.
All right, here we go.
What?
This might be one of my favorite songs ever.
A Cherry Cola, anyone?
Yeah.
Weird. We've never gone this far into the 80s.
Oh my! This is awesome. This is I'm totally digging this. So we got the look. Steve Taki pulls out the look.
Yes.
Who? Roxette Metropolis.
Metropolis got Roxette. Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
dude, Metropolis is on the board with half point.
Brian has a faster internet connection.
He also.
How many? So we're at the last song, right?
We are at the last song, but I put in another one just for fun. So let's just do 11 tonight.
Nice.
Because I'm clipping up. All right, here we go. Yeah, Steve Murky should get this one.
Immediately.
Yep.
Go, Steve.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was
gave
too
it
much.
away.
Steve Taki gets both of them. Holy
Yes,
crap.
he does.
Boom. He gets a
full point
for that shit. I'm telling you. All right, here we go.
It's so funny. I keep looking at the chat thinking, I could get why are people delaying so long? And then I realize there's actually a lag.
Exactly.
When we're talking.
There's like a 6-second delay.
Like,
okay.
Seriously, people, you're slow.
You suck.
So it's,
yeah, Steve Taki,
just...
you and I, buddy, we're buds. This is one of the best bands ever. Yeah. Steve Murky's in Mankato with like dial-up, so we have to kind of forgive him.
He's down in Mankato.
Right.
He's using like a hand generator or something right now. So.
Okay, here comes. Just for fun, we're doing one more track. This one in 1989 won a Grammy for and actually the prior year there was a Grammy given out for.
Jesus, I hope to God this isn't what I think it is.
So there was a Grammy given out for Best Rap Song in 1988 to DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, but they wouldn't let them be on the air. They actually they white out that shit, and they didn't get to play. So this is the first one that ever got aired, and here it is.
Bust it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fuck this shit. Ah!
This here's a jam for all the fellas.
All right, I'm gonna get banned for that, but what the fuck? It's an awesome song. Okay, so we got Young MC, and the first person to get that was Metropolis. Dude, you are in. And then it was Bust a Move by Gabriella, 2383. Gotta love that Gabriella chick. All right, so you each get a half point.
Half point.
Good job.
All right.
So let me give you the rundown. Steve Taki is our winner with 3.5 points.
Right.
With 2.5 points, pulling up the second place rear is the Gleek.
I'm disappointed, Mike. Disappointed.
Yes, Mike. And believe it or not, Mike, you were actually tied with Brian Frober for 2.5 points. So there was two of you back there.
Oh, that's awesome.
In third place, tied for third, Gabriella and Metropolis. And then pulling up fourth place in the rear, was Mark Caps. Good name, Mark. Yeah.
All right, so 1, 2, and 3. I just got to say, first of all, congratulations. And we have some Hawaiian chocolate that we're going to give away to tonight. And if you could email...
What's an email address the winners can use?
The email address that winners can use is Adam@Arcade Radio or Mark@Arcade Radio. Whatever you want, whoever you like best. You know,
Arcade with an R.
Yeah, and Brian doesn't have an address yet. We got to get him an
He doesn't? Who cares about Brian?
But he's the one that's giving away the chocolate.
He smells.
But I ate him.
We're consulting for Brian.
Anyway, just email adam@arcaderadio.com, and that's RCADE radio.com, and we'll send you out some. And by the way, everybody, I am off tomorrow from my actual job, and so I am going to be sending out the magnets that were supposed to go out 4 weeks ago. So I'm really sorry that they're late, but I have padded envelopes. Everything's ready to go. Boom. And if you have not sent me your info, adam@arcaderadio.com. Thank you very much. Which means
you have no excuse to not continue drinking.
I know. Oh, well, first of all, I think we need to listen to the voicemails.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Right? So tonight, it looks like we have a single voicemail in the queue. I can see it.
Oh, that's a surprise.
Oh, yeah. It's like nobody calls us. But if you wanted to call us, you could,
shocked?
You could call us, right? 612-548-GAME.
GAME. GAME. What's the numbers for that?
I'm going to do it
4263. But what I'm saying is, you could call us.
Yes, you bastards. Call us.
Yeah, and if you call us, we will screen the call. And if it's sexual, I will call you back personally.
Yes. With his dick in his hand. Wait! Is your mom really listening to this?
I'm definitely calling.
Sure as shit hope not. I'm going to be this is the most I've sworn or made sexual references on any show.
You made me turn the penis light on, so I don't know what's happening.
Adam, I have to thank you because you're really making me feel at home right now.
All right.
Jingle, jingle.
You're doing it for me. I know.
Oh, let's see what Bob has to say this week. Here we go.
Oh, goody.
Thank you for calling 612-548-GAME. This is Arcade Radio. Please leave your message after the tone.
Hey, everybody. It's your buddy, Bob Zarzadak, control panel expert and technician. And, remember last time I talked to you? So I was outside the airport, and then I jumped on top of all these businessmen, and it was a total success. I completely got it. So now I'm in quarantine. It's great here because I got plenty of time to do whatever I want, as opposed to like usually when I have plenty of things to do what I want, but I'm okay. So that's cool for me. You know what I do regret though? I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you now. I should have bought more toilet paper. I can't believe it. I usually keep 2 rolls here, and oh my god, I made a big mistake. This is just a complete
That's a
underestimation.
month's supply.
But now, I've learned, thanks to YouTube, how to pick a lock in the bathroom and borrow toilet paper. Forever. But whatever, it's all right. They don't miss it. Besides, I'm by that Walmart, and they have plenty somewhere. I don't know where they hide it. All right, so you guys have a good show, Jim Bodini. I love your name. It's good. I like how it's all one name all together, Jim Bodini. There's no space in there. I love your sausages. I think that's all I have to say. All right, you guys take care. Zarsa, take care.
Nice. Oh.
Thanks, Bob Runner.
Ooh, what?
What?
Spoiler?
No. What?
I don't know.
Hey.
Am I Mark Wahlberg tweeting
I don't know.
shit?
Oh, dude, that was the best. That was the best conspiracy of all time.
Tell me about it, dude.
Was.
I remember sitting in my apartment in Minneapolis going, we're fucking with them. They're going to fucking go crazy.
You just you stole it. That was and that went on for a long time.
Yes, I remember that. I remember that the episode. But right now it's not about our kids. It's about tonight. And here we go. That's the fanfare where we literally just thank you again for being on the show, which we've done like 18,000 times. So, hey, Jim Bodini, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, guys. It's good to be with the Minnesota crew.
Yes.
All right, so
the natives.
First of all, let's talk about. Well, we got some stuff to talk. We've talked about a lot of stuff already, but
yeah, fun show, guys.
What's that?
I said we have. It's been a fun show.
Yeah. It's good. And you know,
HD.
So you have this thing called dinkyflix. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I got onto the YouTube bandwagon very early on. I think my channel started when I was in 2006, when it was pretty darn spanking new. And the reason why I joined it was because originally I just wanted a platform that I could share short films, little projects I had done with family and friends. It was not, this was way before it's like you can make money, you could do any of this stuff on YouTube. And so the reason why it's dinkyflix, because most of my videos were really short. They were short films, little tiny short movie, clips, things like that. That, back then YouTube limited your videos to 10 minutes or less.
Jeez.
So a lot of my like I did these top 10 videos, like 80s movies, kids movies, things like that. And I had to break them up into parts because they limited the video to 10 minutes. So so that's why it's dinkyflix, is that's where the name comes from.
Excellent.
And then over time, with the arcade hobby and stuff like that, I started doing, videos about that hobby, but it's still a mix. So I've got all kinds of videos. There's stuff about even the Cobra Kai TV series, where I like to talk about that show because I'm a big Karate Kid. So they're all over the place. It's a big cluster mess.
Yeah, that's cool. So and you produce all those videos. You do all the editing yourself. They're fantastic. But you also do some like arcade how-tos. Recently you did some like how to output video from all your machines, and the troubles with magnetic interference and not having grounding, things like that.
It started on issues that, oh my God, like you don't read how finicky ground is an issue until you start trying to get a clean signal going into like an LCD monitor, because it's perfect. And if there's even like, if you could blow on a wire and it's like, wow, now I got artifacts, So that was a very deep learning curve. In fact, I realized, and I talk about this in that video, that's probably the most detailed video I've ever done, by the way, but I talk about that, about how all my games worked perfectly, but by doing that project, I realized that half of them had incomplete or flawed cabinet grounding going on with them.
Yeah. I think it's a huge deal too, especially if you're a home arcade owner. Boy, I sound very Minnesotan all of a sudden. But if you're like an arcade owner, you got to make sure the ground is like seriously. So, but I'm with you. I mean, every game I get, first thing I do is go through, and if they clip that ground plug, it's chopped off, and I put a new plug on it.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. So, like that's like the first point that I'll go across. But with this, I learned that it doesn't end there. Like it starts there, but then the power supply is a pivotal part of that. How do you have the frame ground, not field ground, the frame ground on the power supply? How's that? If it's a Williams game, sometimes you need to jumper that with the regular ground in order to get rid of a Moyer effect across the screen. So there's so many little caveats with the grounding, and then
I had to do that on my Joust. I had to do the same thing on my Joust.
Yes.
I was like, and my Defender actually, both of them when I first got them, had grounding issues, and not just with the Moyer pattern, whatever else, but like the freaking control panel. Right? If you don't have if you're not grounded,
I'm getting a Woody from just saying the word Moyer.
But I'm just saying, if you're not grounded properly, nothing ain't working right. So,
it's so touchy. It's just amazing. I never would have guessed that. And if you talk about games like Miss Pac-Man, where they do the AC to DC conversion on the board, and then you've got the fuse block, and you talk about Humbar, like I've
I like talking about Humbar. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
So, long-winded way of saying that ground is so important when you're talking about streaming or direct capturing arcade stuff, because the thing is that the CRT monitors are so robust, and they can take, they're so forgiving. They can take a lot of like weird signals and stuff and make them into a nice picture. But when you want to take that into like a capture card, if it's not perfect, you're SOL. So,
which for everybody listening, SOL means shit out of luck.
Oh, are we swearing? I've been really holding back tonight.
Hey, I thought
I've been PG.
You son of a bitch!
I've already said shit, and I think I said fuck like at least once or twice.
I
oh my god! I want to go. Can we start over? I'm just kidding. But
He's like totally. He's like.
I mean, I'm drinking and I'm being like cognizant of like what I'm saying. Yeah.
Jim Bodini.
That's a big word.
By the
welcome to season 4, episode 12 of the Arcade Radio Podcast. Today is.
Oh, I've grown such more of an appreciation for your show now.
Nice.
We temper our language based on guest, and we know you pretty well. So but anyway, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, my next question has to do with the hobby, because dinkyflix is pretty cool. And just by the way, check look up how do we look you up? Jim Bodini? Do we look up Jim? How do we look you up?
How do we find
just
you
type
online?
You can just type in dinkyflix.
Okay.
DINKYFLIX.
Right.
So or you could do a Google search for just arcade streaming, and my video should pop up pretty darn cool. There aren't many videos about like direct feed streaming arcade games. You might get in Ghost, but that's about it.
Now, so interesting thing is, I met you a few years back. I think one of the first times we interacted was at one of my parties. Thanks for coming out, by the way. And
bad that we don't hang out more.
I know, but it's really, I know, because you're not that far, but like
I'll fly in.
Like
now it's easy.
Right. So Mark, exactly. It's like $8 too for a flight. So, but Mark and you and I and a bunch of other people hooked up at a party a few years back at my house. And I remember talking to you, and you didn't have like a huge collection at the time. I think you were, correct me if I'm wrong, but you might have been dealing with like a Rampage game at the time.
No, so at the time, was that 2013, 14 maybe? I want to say is when we all hooked up. I was at the time I was living with my ex-wife at the time, my wife, and all my games were in storage because we didn't have a lot of space. So I had not taken on many new projects, and it was really interesting. At one point, we'd been married for, it was like a blink of an eye. We'd been married for like a few months, and she's like, you don't seem too happy. And we started talking, and I was like, yeah, I miss the hobby and stuff. And we had a 2-bedroom apartment at the time, so we had and the second bedroom was like an office area, but that we rarely used. So we had this extra space, and she's like, if you want to do some projects and stuff, if you want, you bring your Miss Pac-Man in here and stuff. And she like opened up the floodgate. Basically.
Oh, yeah.
And so
way to go.
So I brought Miss Pac-Man in, I brought my Mega Touch in, and then I picked up 2 projects that the second time ever that I've done 2 projects simultaneously. And it was a Marble Madness restoration.
Yes.
And my Red Tent.
Oh.
And I got them both from the same guy. So I did that. Those games were in there, and then shortly after that, I came across my Eyes cabinet, and that's another story. But so that's what like re-sparked my interest, because at the time I had about 8 or 10 games, and they were all in storage, and it was just like I'd been so disconnected from the hobby, because it's like if you're not involved with something, it's like, well, you kind of lose interest. Not lose interest, but you're disconnected. You're not in, like, you don't have your hands in something. And so it's like, Arcade Outsiders was going on, and Grinkers was kind of happening, and so my interest was kind of resparked, but I didn't have my hands in anything. So it's difficult. But so then you had your party, and that was just as I was starting to get back into the swing of things.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and that was super fun because I was like, other than like Sean and like Chris Rhodes, I only knew like a very small amount of Minnesota collectors, and it was so much more fun once I got to meet a bunch of people and realize, wow, there's this whole community, and we all have the same interest, and we're all cool folks. Like everyone gets along. Like half of that reinvigorated my interest in the hobby was that I get a lot of energy from other people. I'm an extrovert, so just talking to other people gets me energized.
I totally get that too. And the interesting thing is too, we had such a good time that night. I remember that was one of the best parties I've had, and I've had a few good parties. But it's interesting to me is we have a Minnesota arcade pinball collectors group on Facebook, and I would have expected there to be like maybe 20 of us, right? Like,
yeah.
And there's 20, and I will say there are 20 of us that know each other really well.
Yes.
But all of a sudden, this group is like, 200 large or 150 large. It's like,
and there are posts every day.
I know.
About pick up where I'm selling this or that, and I'm like, who? And people start friending me, and I'm like, who are you? And I'm like,
so I'm gonna friend. I'm gonna wait. Social distancing. I'm sorry.
Not.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing I really like about the Minnesota crew, for the most part, is like you said. I mean, everybody. I feel like there's a lot of people that help each other. I get into we get these like chats other places in the country, and I kind of catch wind of things where. And there are a few, there's a little bit of drama comes up every now and then, but for the most part, it's a really good group of guys that, they're all looking for machines. If they get a good deal, they're going to take it. But I feel like if they don't get a good deal, they're emailing the other guys, posting up saying, hey, there's this deal here. Somebody go get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pay it forward. And I don't know about you, Adam, but the first Minnesota collector that I have good memories of, that when I was first, so I got into the hobby about 2004, and
a year before me.
Way before me.
Actually, I started in 2002, but I signed on a club in 2003, I think. Yeah.
Right.
I was 21. I was in college. I had just picked up a second job as a wedding videographer, and finally I was getting some really good supplemental income, and on my little teenage bucket list was to own an arcade machine when I was a kid. But I didn't know how you go about doing that. But at the time I was working for, I knew enough. I was building computers. I was researching, and I'm like, wow, an arcade machine is basically a computer. I mean, essentially you've got a motherboard, you've got a monitor. Okay, I can figure this shit out.
Exactly.
And, Then I discovered Clov, and that's why I joined Clov so early on. I was naive. Like so many people I know are like, I lurked on there before but I was like, no, I'm just going to join. And, but I didn't know where to buy games. This is like kind of pre-Craigslist era. Like, and maybe Craigslist is out, but I didn't know about it. And so the first thing I did was I started calling arcade spots that I knew as a kid, like Chuck E. Cheese's and things like that, just to see if I could find a game for sale. And the skating place in St. Cloud, Minnesota, which is a roller rink, the owner there, that was back in those days where the owners of these places owned the arcade machines. No one was renting games or leasing them. There was no distributors. They were just buying out the games. And he's like, yeah, I got a few games that I'd be interested in selling. That's how I got my Turtles. Where was I going with this? That's how I started. That's how I got started.
Yeah,
and
that's great. Did you ever own a Rampage?
No, sorry.
Okay. So it must have been Turtles I was thinking of.
Yeah, and coincidentally, my first project, my turtles, was originally, and now I it's one of those things where if you could go back in time and change things and kick your own ass and that sort of thing, the turtles that I have was originally a 4-player Desert Assault.
Interesting.
Data East game.
Nice.
And I didn't realize how rare those games really are. I sold the board and stuff. I converted it to a Turtles, which is very similar to a Konami 4-player cabinet, except with the exception that the coin door has 4 slots. It's just one single door with 4 slots. The control panel is a little bit wider. Still is 25-inch Wells Gardner monitor. But nowadays, I don't know of anyone other than maybe Galloping Ghost that owns a 4-1, and everything was in immaculate condition. Now, if I could go back in time, I'd kick my own ass. But I converted. It was a good learning experience because I learned about wiring. I learned about the power supply. I had to replace the power supply. I had to recap the monitor. That was my first recapping experience, which my soldering skills back then sucked.
Yeah.
Amazed the monitor worked.
How long? Let me ask you a question. How long did it take you to buy a 301 Hacko?
I still don't own one.
No, you need to buy one. Are you kidding me? What do you use to solder?
I have a Wells. I don't even know what the model is. It's cheap. It's $100 soldering iron.
Sure. But it's not. You don't have a desoldering gun, right?
No, I not a gun. I've been using the Radio Shack.
Yes, the bulb, which is the intermediary.
You know what? That's worked. The only thing that doesn't cover is the giant stuff.
I got to tell you,
like if you're gonna
I'm telling you, Jim, you got to buy the 301 Hacko.
So I'll tell you, actually. So if you call Ness Electronics and tell them that you can find these, you can buy these from them in person down in Burnsville. But we have these in the shop. When we first got these, I started desoldering everything. It's so much fun.
I'm telling you, I did the same thing you did. I went from the stupid little spring-loaded sucker.
And I still use that on the giant parts, but for the most part, yeah, it's a.
I've used braid. And I bought an off-brand IUA, Chinese brand solder sucker, which worked better than all that stuff. But the 301, the Hacko, it cuts your job by about a 15th. It cuts your job by three. That's a terrible analogy, wasn't it? It's like just like a
15th.
Yeah, it really pretty much doesn't do anything. No, it cuts your job down to a 15th of the effort.
Oh, I gotcha.
It's unbelievable.
Well, the funny thing is that Carrie's she's got the fancy desoldering gun. She's got the fancy soldering iron, and 9 times out of 10, she prefers to use the spring-loaded solder sucker.
That's really interesting.
That's just
that's funny.
But she's really good with it.
I tell you what,
that's just what she's used to.
The next dinkyflix video should be we'll pick a board, like a Williams board.
Okay.
And let's have a desoldering challenge.
Well, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
I'll have a 301 Hacko. You get your bulb out, and let's see who wins.
Before Radio Shack went out of business, I bought up a bunch of their. I have brand new in package their desoldering guns because they were like a couple bucks. They had them all on clearance.
I
have all the tips to replace them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm used to. The only time that I'm like, man, I wish I had something different was when I'm doing something that's like a giant, like a flyback or something like that, and then I have to use the solder sucker. I
got to tell you though, the Radio Shack bulb works really well. So, and Chris
it
Rose
actually does, and people give me shit, but I'm like, this is $20. I have the tips are a couple bucks, and I can recap a monitor in under 20 minutes.
Chris Rhodes used the bulb for many, many years, and now he has a 301 Hacko.
Yeah, well, Chris Rhodes is an animal.
Yeah, that fucker can take my he can take my chassis, and in 10 minutes have all the freaking caps done.
You call Chris and you hear the hacko in the background and the ice clinking.
Yeah. No. Oh, he is a captain guy, isn't he?
He is.
He used to be just like a light beer dude.
Guy. He was when he was the first person to reach out to me through Clav. He actually called me up. He's like, call me when I got my Miss Pac-Man in 2008, and he gave me every bit of advice. Oh, I got a really funny. Can I tell this story real quick?
Yes, absolutely.
How I met him. So I had been talking on the phone with Chris several times on the phone when I was doing my restore with my Miss Pac-Man. At the time, it was my best restore I've ever done because I did. He convinced me to do the vinyl overlay, not do the stencil. Now this was before good stencil, like. 2008. This is before a lot of this stuff was. So he really hooked me up. He walked me through everything. He's like, here's what you need to do to repin this connector, to redo this fuse block. He walked me through everything. Super nice. I mean, you guys know Chris Rhodes. Yeah. Super nice. So he's like, he hooked me up with Miss Pac-Man with the artwork, and he's like, why don't we just meet up? And at the time, Fuddruckers was still around in St. Louis Park. One of my favorite burger joints of all time. It's not there anymore. But he's like,
it's
let's
a
meet
China Moon or something.
Yeah, it's a Chinese buffet.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's still around. But so we met up there on a Friday, and I had only heard his voice, so I had no idea what Chris looked like.
He's like,
and in my head, because he's almost got like a southern Minnesota, like it's a Minnesota accent, but it's kind of almost southern. And in my head, I had this guy that was like a George Costanza of Seinfeld. Like he was like, I had this picture of this heavy-set dude that was a little bit short, stocky, and I get there. And no one's around except this guy, and he's like size 29 jeans, like little tiny guy, and he opens his mouth and he's like, is that Jim? And I'm like, and I heard it, and his voice is like, Chris? And it's just and it was not the person I expected, this very slender, like Joe Dirt almost, except he doesn't have a mullet, like I did not expect that to be Chris Rhodes, and we had a blast. We had a couple of beers. We talked about games. They had some games at Fuddruckers back then. We just shot the shit, and he's one of my favorite people in the world. Like he's the best. So it was just so funny.
Come on, George, I'll help you push it across.
Wait a minute. This looks familiar. This reminds me of something. I can do this.
By yourself?
Jerry, I've been preparing for this moment my entire life.
What the hell is this?
The George Costanza Frogger episode. You brought up George.
You know what's funny about that? I just discovered a really good interview with Jason Alexander, who played George.
Yes.
And they're unlisted on YouTube, but if you do a search for this, it was I forget the name of it, but it's an interview with him. It's from 2013. You can find little clips of it, but in the description, there's the full interview, and they're all enlisted on YouTube, but the links are there. And he talks about his whole career, and my God, that guy is so smart and articulate. Mm-hmm. And he goes into depth. It's like a 2-hour interview just about Seinfeld. He's talking about just Seinfeld for like 2 parts.
Well, it's like 10 years of his life, or 14 years of his life.
But he is such an accomplished actor. You listen to his interview about like how he got into Broadway and stuff, and it's just amazing. Like I have such more respect because like of the Seinfeld characters, George was like my least favorite. But now I have such a more of a respect for him as an actor.
He's the most despised
check
for
that
sure.
out on YouTube.
And he's on Miss Maisel now.
Is he really?
Oh, is he?
He is the the dad's friend at the beach.
Oh man, Craig is awesome.
Yeah. So really great. I mean, he's a phenomenal actor. So and I've been watching Comedians in Cars lately too. So I'm totally like.
Oh, don't get me started on that because that's made me disrespect Jerry Seinfeld a lot more.
Oh, Jerry, come on.
Is that because of his homophobic views and his sexist sort of?
No, it's because of his pompous attitude about he's better than everyone else and everyone owes him a debt for being.
Yes, so fuck you guys. Fuck
yeah,
you all.
That's right. We
like when he interviews people on that show. He asks questions so that they ask him questions so that he can answer his own questions. Yep. He's not doing it to be nice like to the other people, and it just pissed me off because I liked him as a character. Like I wanted to believe that he was kind of similar to his persona on the show.
I kind of
maybe
agree with
at
you.
one time he was, but it's not the way he is now.
No, it's not exactly. But Larry David is exactly like his character. Larry David is not given up.
Oh my God. One of the my most favorite things about Larry David to do on YouTube is to look up the compilations people have put out about him playing George Steinbrenner on Seinfeld. Yes, George, come in. I heard you're a communist. Like all that stuff is so freaking funny.
It's all him.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's funny. So while we were talking, I've been texting John Jacobson. And he's busy, so he's not going to join us. But we got really close, so I just want to let you know.
Well, we need to give him a corner spot on the
Mark,
show.
do you remember the Hangout days that you were a frequent person?
I did.
He was on. He came on twice.
I got him in there both times.
Yeah, you carried your weight.
I don't know what he's doing right now, but it's not.
He's not drunk as parents on Thanksgiving.
I guess
that's
not.
one. Yeah.
No.
Hey, Canadian Bart's on too. We missed him.
Bart Chris. I mean, he has a name, so.
He's also got his own translator app. From what I've been told now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, I need another cocktail. I know we're nearing the end of your allotted time, but
that's right.
We are. So I think we should do another. Hey, chatters, should we go another 15, 20? What do you think? Just give us a little thumbs
15.
up. I mean, tonight's my Friday, so I
mean, everybody's saying,
and we're quarantined. I don't have to,
Correct. Right. Mike Galik says, sounds like Trump, and I'm like, how do I apply that?
That's a can of worms. Oh, my dad emailed. So.
Oh no!
Not to get too political. My dad emailed me an onion. Do you guys like onion?
Yeah, I love the onions. Love it.
Okay, so he emailed me how Trump's idea, their fake article about how his way of stimulating the economy is to send everyone instead of money, send them all an 8x10 signed portrait of him. And I just lost it. I was laughing my ass off, and it's this long article. The Onion. They go all out, and it's like it's worded really well, and it's all about it's something you could almost believe if you didn't know it was coming from the Onion. And it was all about this is how this is going to stimulate the economy because these 8x10 autographed pictures are worth so much money. You can sell them for X amount of dollars. It was hilarious.
That is great. All right, so normally this is where we'd be signing off, but we're gonna go a little longer tonight, guys. So
bonus
Bodini, get yourself a drinkini, and Mark, are you fueled up here? Are we good to go?
I have a half of a martini right now.
All right,
and oddly enough, I still have a St. Arnold's Pumpkinator.
Oh, and from like October.
Oh damn!
Yes, and even that a wooden spoon, dark chocolate, and pecan pie.
And Brian, you're gonna do a couple of shots of chocolate. Is that what I understand?
I wish I could be drinking now because
I just said chocolate. You're like Hawaiian chocolate. Just
I
eat
can
it.
go get some.
The man is a surgeon.
He says he cuts people's legs off. That's what that's what he does for a living.
I haven't done that in like 3 weeks.
Yes.
All right.
All right, guys. I'll be right back.
It's great. All right. This is a station break. Jim's going to get a cocktail. This is KOR Studios and Arcade Radio.
Yes. All right. Acapulco.
Yeah. Goonies never say die. I'm actually completely out, so I should probably get something. But let's think of so we have not talked. We're totally off script. We have not looked at the notes all night, which is great. Let's pick three questions for Jim when he comes back.
Well, let me go look through the chat. So let's see. Netropolis asks, why aren't we grilling the doctor on COVID questions? I guess.
Well, first of all,
he's
a freaking orthopedic surgeon, which has nothing to do with that.
Netropolis, you have not actually asked any actual questions.
All right, I'm just gonna put my thing up, and I'm gonna go and get a drink. You guys think of a question for when Jim comes back, and then we'll do that, right?
I can do a station break. I can wander around the shop.
I need a snack too. I'm like ready for a snack.
I love the shop.
Go for a tour.
Brian, let's do a tour. Let's do a tour of the shop.
Yeah, can you find are my games over there? Actually,
yes. Can you hear me?
What? Yeah.
Okay, I just unhooked the microphone, so it must have flipped to the thing. I'm gonna put this on the back microphone, and while we're in a station break, we're gonna go for a wander around the shop.
I love it.
So let's see here. All right, here we go. Everybody ready? All right, here. Okay.
What happened?
Whoops.
I don't see video at all. Hold on. I just see your icon now, so let me...
Let's see. There we go. Is it up?
I don't see... Oh, wait, yes, I see something.
Okay.
A cockpit,
here we go.
Walking towards.
Oh my gosh, this is this giant Sega Strike Fighter. It's actually a lot of fun, but this thing sucks to move. Moving over here. So this is like our repair area. There's a crazy taxi because I have this obsession with cockpits, a Star Wars cockpit and a Mach 3 cockpit. The Mach 3 is now working. And this is one of the funniest modifications I've seen to a Big Blue.
Who's that man?
That's just awesome.
He looks really scared.
More Hydra Thunders than should ever be in one place.
Nice.
We should start burning them. And then moving over here, we're going for a little tour. Here is the Hawaiian candy stash. There's like a little bit here and here, then bags of it here and here.
Is this where shipping occurs?
This is the shipping area. Yep. This is where the orders get packed.
Okay.
Yep. You can see some of the fun stuff over here. That is the Platinum album from Steve Smith that he gave us when we picked up the Journey, which actually I will, because a lot of people probably haven't seen this, so I will give the quick. I normally wouldn't run over here, but just so everybody can see it, as we'll show it off. The Journey. Journey's Journey. So that is actually the Journey from Journey.
Yeah.
Signed by the band. So,
Ryan,
anyways, moving along.
Can I interrupt you for a second and ask you a question?
Of course.
I've been looking for a very long time now. The last game that I can fit into my collection, I've wanted a Big Blue, maybe it was a second generation cabinet, the one with the Q sound with the separated speakers, preferably the thin marquee, but if it's the one that's got the detachable marquee, basically.
I think. Hold on, there may be one back here. So what people need to remember is like a lot of the games here are a mix of my games and then Up Down's games. So we repair stuff for Up Down. This is the Indiana Jones I just picked up. That side art is original.
But we can't see anything.
Wow, that's not faded at all, dude.
No, it's unbelievable how nice this cabinet is.
Oh, look at him.
So, all right.
Look at it.
Yeah.
Snow in the middle of the packing section. And here...
There's no video, you guys.
But we see it. Why?
I see it. Why didn't they see it?
Because it's on Skype, but something happened.
No.
You're not fix it?
You're not broadcasting.
I see it perfectly.
The chatters don't.
Did his feed change? Like you have to go find a different feed or something?
Let me try this.
I do see that. I do see on the chat. It just says the Skype symbol.
Murky hates audio tours. Well, Murky, get your ass up here. Did that do it? Did that go through?
Well,
we can see it, but for some reason on the actual YouTube feed, it's not there.
My YouTube so delayed.
I blame Adam because
I blame him also. Adam's eating
because.
some kind of a chocolate bar in his mouth.
Hey, you guys, at least we play a disclaimer on our show that there's going to be eating, chewing.
Yeah, chewing, talking to John Jacobson.
Like making slewed remarks, swearing, like obscenities, fart jokes.
I'm texting him right now. He's
a lot of bathroom humor.
It's not going to happen.
All right.
We're all about 8 years old on our show.
Can everybody see that? So my the funny thing is my YouTube video is about 10 minutes delayed. Literally 10, 15 minutes delayed.
Nobody
so
can
can't
see.
Tell if it's going
Nobody.
through.
Everyone just sees a big S. If you're you should try disconnecting and reconnecting.
It's very uniform though. It's a very nice blue.
It is.
All right. Let me. Yeah. I'm gonna hang up. All right. I'll do it.
All right. Now that we got rid of Brian, maybe John can come on.
What a sub that would be.
I know, right? I sent the link out to John, but it's going to definitely take multiple times before he joins in.
Oh, he's not.
I'm sure
join.
He's like freaking in his living room. He's like, I'm not joining. Fuck you.
I wonder how he's doing. You know, he's been so disconnected as it is.
I think he likes it.
Oh, I don't doubt that. I mean
he's like,
that's a lot of less work, and
I don't have to.
He can live his life.
Exactly.
You don't have to put on a persona. Like you can just live your life, be happy with your family.
You know what's funny about that persona? Whenever I remember one time I'm driving to Best Buy to buy like another memory card or something, and I'm sitting next to him and I'm realizing this dude is the dude I'm like. I thought this was a persona, but this is just like literally him, and so I was like, oh man, no wonder everybody is like into it. But he's like a caricature. He's definitely he's an unusual personality, and you know, you don't find that a lot, and that's kind of like probably why we're all like weirded out.
It reminds me, it's a bad comparison, but it kind of reminds me of Howard Stern. Like if you ever watched like Private Parts where he's talking and he's so inconsiderate, and all of a sudden WNBC.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. My wife loves Howard Stern, and I feel like if I ever was able to talk to Howard Stern, exactly the same thing. He has his, his like radio persona or whatever, and then he has his own.
Off-air. Yep.
Exactly.
And it's interesting. There's a comedian in Cars with Howard Stern, and he's pretty brutal to Jerry, which I like.
Yeah, he liked that.
Yeah,
he's also so brutal to himself, though. Like, so it's hard. It's very difficult to be like, "Wow, you suck," when all he's doing is like poking at himself.
Sure,
but then
he knows.
I think that can kind of be a facade too.
He knows his shortcomings. He's in therapy.
Yeah,
he's cheated.
Yeah.
He loves his wife. Well, at least that's what it seems like on TV.
Right. Who he does not refer to as pig vomit.
Yeah,
no,
exactly. And Brian is totally checked out now.
No, I'm here.
Who earns? Oh no! What? You went from having a pseudo feed to no feed to we can hear you.
Now you can't see me? This is bizarre. Like, I literally have been showing...
Oh, wait, I double-clicked on... There he is. There you are. I had to double-click on your little...
I mean, Mark, can you... Ooh. I mean, you can see this, right?
I see your back. Wow, wait, hold on.
But still no one in the YouTube. Something's up here.
Yeah, you're not on anymore.
I gotta back up here. Hold on.
I blame Adam.
Okay, I see.
I didn't do shit, and you're in a... Whatever.
I see a space. Oh yes, space. Yeah. I can't speak.
Yeah.
Maybe time to wrap this crap up, so we, because we're not getting a tour of Paradise Arcade tonight.
Well, I'm sitting. We could harass.
Wait, no, Brian, you're like 15 minutes from me. Just come over here. No.
I mean, there's a Tail Gunner 2 back here somewhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that.
Lies.
Brian, come over here and bring that big blue cabinet.
Oh, there it is. Where's the? Yeah, wait. The big blue. I was going to check. No, I do not have the detachable speaker one. It's the one.
Okay, because that's the one I want for Super Turbo. For Street Fighter Super Turbo. No.
Wait, something happened. Did you guys see that?
Coverage.
Oh, we see him on YouTube. No, he's there. What happened?
Oh,
but now he's at 4 frames a second.
I'm back.
There. Yeah. Now he's on. I didn't do anything.
And now he's frozen on YouTube.
Well, now he's back.
Oh no, there he is.
I'm back.
Damn. Yeah.
This is so weird.
Well, and now that's the end of the show. Good night, everyone.
Wait, now you're back to where you were. What happened? We didn't even see anything. Oh,
that was amazing.
Yeah, there was
like 6 major havocs back there. There's like a couple of iRobots in the corner.
Okay, let's do a new segment of the show called Personal Questions from the audience. Chatters ask us a question if they want to about our personal lives, and we will answer individually. One question.
Wait, I will get in here.
Size, inches, girth.
Best comment.
Wait a minute. We didn't even talk about eyes yet. We didn't even. Okay, first of all, before we do that, we haven't even talked about your world record on eyes. So quickly, what's your world record on eyes? We got to do that.
20. Well, officially it's 26 million.
26 million on Rcade?
Yes.
Okay.
Which also beats Twin Galaxies.
Yeah.
Twin Galaxies 0.3 million from 1983.
Wow, that's amazing.
That was from Rugi. I actually have it up here because I knew you guys were going to ask me this.
Yeah.
It was.
By the way, he's a world record holder. In case you didn't know.
On a game that no one cares about.
I love Eyes. It's one of the coolest games ever.
I have great fun. Like the story about how I got interested in Eyes is another one. That's another.
Well, tell us. Yeah, you got to tell us. Tell us. Let's do it.
So I had no idea what the hell Eyes was. 2013 or whatever. But Sean was having his annual arcade parties. And so I went out to his place. I want to say it's 2014, maybe. And he had just finished restoring his Eyes cabinet. He had it there, and I'm like, wow, this is basically Pac-Man. It's a clone of Pac-Man, basically. It's a maze game, but you have this little fire button. Well, little did I know that you add a fire button, and the whole thing changes, and it becomes an addicting game and super, super, super fun. So I played it basically all night. I played that, and I played his Punch-Out all night, and I just couldn't get enough of it. And afterwards, I was like, man, this game is so much fun. But I'm never going to find an Eyes. Like, who's going to find a Rockola Eyes? They're just not.
They're super
crackheads, for sure.
So the planets aligned. It was like the most fluke thing ever. Do you guys remember? There was, I forget the guy's name, but he tried opening up an arcade called Hidden Treasures.
Hidden Treasures. Yes. That would be Nate Block.
Okay, thank you. I was there. It was for his soft opening, and I had an Eyes cabinet popped up. It was on Craigslist. I'm like, what? And they were asking $300. It was a working Eyes game. I immediately emailed the dude, and the cabinet was in rough shape, but it was working. And I'm like, how about $200? I should just spend $100, but he responds right away, and he's like, no. And I'm like, well, is it $300 firm or what? He's like, you need to come out here and look at it. Okay. So I go out there, and it's one of those notorious sketchy, almost like a drug type stories of Craigslist. I go out there. He's got the cabinet in his garage. He has it powered up. It's working. And I'm like, so what's the deal? And he's like, he proceeds to tell me the story of this. It belonged to his cousin who had committed suicide, and now he has no need for the game. It's just been sitting here collecting dust basically. And I'm like, well, it's pretty the notorious Rockola games, the T molding slots, everything's been swollen. It's in rough shape. So again, I offered 200, and he's like, well, how about 250? I'm like, all right. But the problem is that I drove in there with my Toyota Corolla. I had no truck back then. Mm-hmm. I just came out there to look at the game. And so I'm like, all right, well, how about I pay you right now? Here's the cash, and I'll just come pick it up a different day. He's like, all right. So he takes me and their house is no bigger than a trailer house, like a trailer park house. Mm. He brings me in there, and his wife's there, and she handwrites me a receipt saying, here, you bought this, basically. So I come back there the next day with my buddy with his truck, and he's like, and he texted me, and he's like, yep, just come on in. I'm not going to be around, but the door will be open. So we go there, and there's eyes, and it's all ready to go. He had pushed it up to the door, but no one's around. So we just load the game up and drive away. It's the weirdest experience ever. But that's how I got it. And the exciting thing for me about it was when I got around to restoring it, I discovered that it was originally it was a factory conversion. It was I wish I had the cabinet behind me, but my cabinet is basically, it was a jump bug cabinet. It's completely blue, and it had the generic Rockola side art on the sides, and when you peeled it down, when I peeled it away, it was jump bug artwork underneath it. But what gave it away as a factory conversion was when I opened up the cabinet, there was an eyes board in there. No hacked wiring whatsoever. It was eyes wiring, and the manual was still in the manila envelope, eyes manual, and then the serial tag was an eyes serial tag. So it was a complete Rockola factory conversion. Normally an eyes cabinet just has black kick plate, just solid black, and it's just got the generic Rockola side art. So to me, that was even better, because if you look at the eyes artwork, it's all that same jump bug blue. That cabinet should have been blue all around. They never should have done black on the kick plate. So it was I was pretty happy. So I restored that. I did gloss white laminate on it. Nice. I fixed up the T molding slots that had been stapled to hold it together. It was a Frankenstein mess, but it was one of my best restorations, and now it's got a bit kit in it too. So I've got the Rockola board in there and the bit kit, but I always, if I'm going to play eyes, I play the bit kit because it's got the eyes 99 mod in there that saves high scores all the way up to 99 million points. So,
nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. So long-winded way to bring it around. That's Sean's party is what got me hooked on it, and that's what got me into going for world records.
When did you get your world record?
2016, Grinkers 4.
I remember that well.
And you're still holding.
That was my second attempt with Clint waiting. I felt bad because the first time I tried was at CAX, yes. The summer before, and I don't want to make a lot of excuses, but I was playing it on a non-original cabinet with a micro switch joystick, and it didn't feel as good. I couldn't get past like 16 million, and Clint was there the whole time. I did like 2 or 3 attempts. So when they came to Grinkers, I was like, if I don't get the world record, I'm going to be so bad for Clint, because he's sitting there for 3-4 hours.
Right.
So, quick question.
Yeah.
You played at CAX, you played at Grinkers, and you've made a couple of attempts at home.
Yes.
Maybe a little fun spot,
but never topped the Grinkers score.
Well, on my own, I have.
Okay.
I've done it 3 or 4 times. My best score is actually on my YouTube channel. I did 41 million.
And that doesn't count? You can't submit that anymore?
I don't. even if I could, I don't really want to because there's something about having the live experience.
Sure.
And I've talked to Clint about this, but I've done 31, I've done the 36, and then I did the 41 million. And the 41 million point score actually came before I officially got the world record. So I knew I had the potential, I could do it. And that's kind of where I'm at right now with Cheyenne. I want to do the world record on Cheyenne.
Oh, cool.
But again, that's I need to have Clint or someone from Rcaders invest their time. I just don't trust Twin Galaxies anymore.
Sure.
For a variety of reasons. We don't need to get into that, but I just don't trust.
They've changed hands a bunch of times too. So like, are you good at Paperboy too?
I suck at Paperboy.
Okay.
I don't, and I don't own one, but I'm terrible at that game.
Yeah, I hate that game.
And there's a lot of games I own that I'm terrible at too. Like, despite what people think, like if you own a game, you can still be terrible at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
you got what back there? You got
those.
Tasmania. You got Gapless. You got Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah. So I just finished revamping my BitKit on Eyes because it's a four-way game, four-way joystick, and I don't want to replace a joystick. So everything in there is a four-way game right now. But I've got in my storage unit, I've got a Warp project. I've got the original cabinet. I got everything to restore it. Original power supply. That's going to be my 8-way BitKit game.
Nice.
So that's my plan. But yeah, so I've got, and I know you guys can't see this, but
your BitKit experience. Eyes on the BitKit versus say the 98-1 or 96-1, whatever it is, versus original hardware.
I've only played the one on 96-1 back when it was brand spanking new to Eyes, so I can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
I mean, I actually think that probably runs as true as possible because it doesn't. It uses the original board. So if
it's based off Pac-Man hardware. So
yeah, so it should run like perfectly, and the BitKit is.
It's spot on.
Excellent.
I can't tell the difference between the two.
Yeah.
Like if you had booted up the game and I just walked up to and I played it, I'd be like, "Oh, that's original hardware," and you're like, "Well, it's a BitKit." Like I can't tell the difference.
Yeah, Tim McVeigh says the same thing about Nibbler, so that's great. That's more, we just had Aaron on 2 weeks ago.
Aaron is amazing. He's done, and the support he provides is so good.
Unbelievable.
Anytime I'm like, here's a little thing, here's something with the score, or here's this, and like, it seems like a day later, he's like, it's fixed. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
He's a madman.
I told him, I put it in my Miss Pac-Man machine. I said the sound's not right, and I told him what I thought, and he made modifications. 3 months later, he's got a new version.
You say that about the sound because that was my first criticism about Eyes on the BitKit was that it was too tinny. The sound was too tinny.
Didn't have enough bass. Yep.
And he fixed it it was just like that. And I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, that guy's awesome. And the new Bluetooth kit, I just got mine in the mail last week.
Oh, damn. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm super excited. I'm going to put it in my Pac-Man machine. And that's going to become my new Bluetooth BitKit. I love the fact that you could just sit at the couch and do your updates.
Oh, man. Yeah. That's even, yeah. I mean, I still am tickled by the fact that I can just like pull up a chair with my laptop, even with the hardwired, and because I have the USB cord dangle right in the coin box, so I could just open up the coin door and plug it in. But now with the new version, it's like it's even easier.
Yeah,
it's so cool. It's so awesome. Carrie comes over and she loves to play. There's so many games on there. I like Anteater. There's so many fun games on there. That's why I used to have it boot straight to Eyes. Now I don't. I just have it boot to the menu because there's so many times where I'm like, I'm going to play this game. I've only played it twice,
Yeah, it's just great. I mean, and they're obscure games, but they are fun.
Oh, super fun. Yeah. Beastie Feastie is still
oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
you could play that game all day.
There's a whole episode on Arcade Outsiders from a few years back about Glob, and Beastie Feasty is the perfection of that. It's so good.
I've got my Beastie Feasty cocktail.
Nice.
Oh no, he's frozen.
Are you sure, Brian? Because your eyes are closed.
Now it looks like me on the Nolan Bushnell episode.
Bushnell. He's falling asleep.
Oh, but the opposite. Where Nolan Bushnell is like smoking like what used to be like marijuana. Who knows? But
So like all you guys are frozen on my screen. I can't figure this out, and I have no video feed of myself. So
you sound
I don't
great.
know what Skype
you
is doing
sound
tonight.
great. I don't know. It's messed up.
Skype doesn't like you. It's okay.
Yeah.
I feel unwanted. I didn't even get to show Jason his tail gunner too. Very sad.
Well, listen, we've gotten over tonight, and I appreciate your time. I'd love to have you on again soon.
I love hanging with the Minnesota dudes. It's
fun. This has been great. And we need to, maybe we
need to just get together again. Yeah.
We should maybe do like a couple, during Corona. Maybe we could do a weekly.
Right.
It's funny because we were just talking about that in the hangout. We're half joking, but I'm almost thinking that it might be a thing where it's like, if we're all working from home,
if
we're all quarantined, why don't we do at least 2 shows a week?
See, I could, I could do 1 a week. Maybe we'll up our game. We'll have to ask about the the chatters what they think, but if we could get 25 people in the chat every week, I'd love that. I think it's super fun to hang out with everybody.
Fun. That's why I've been thinking about streaming more frequently because chat's half the fun.
Yeah.
I did Goonies last Friday.
That was I gotta do
I
that.
I want to do versus Castlevania. Yeah, streaming games is so much. Arcade games is so much fun because I turn on with Restream. You can turn on. It's basically like a Siri voice. So anytime someone posts in the chat, it's vocal. It's like a Siri. voice
I would love that.
And so it's like I'm reacting to that. Yeah, it's so much fun.
Sweet.
So I want to do more Red Tent games. I've got more games. I could do BitKit. I could do whatever.
Jim,
but
you and I need to get together and talk about producing because I would love to trade soundboards and get tips. That'd be freaking awesome.
Dude, I could compress all my sounds into a zip file and just send it to you.
Oh, that'd be great.
Fun.
I'll do the same.
Yeah.
I've got a ton, so you can have them all.
Dude. Yeah. Well, dude, we're right in each other's backyards.
I could. What I'll do is I'll come to your backyard and drop the thumb drive off in your backyard.
I'll grab it with latex gloves.
Yeah. Put it in your UV. Oh, wait a minute, that just erased everything. But
yeah. And now we killed Brian again. No,
I'm back.
Okay.
Stop thinking, Brian.
I'm back.
Ryan, I'm gonna hit you up for that for a big blue cabinet though. I feel like you're the best resource.
He might have some.
I have the one, just not the one with the detached top, but they do come around sometimes. That is one that I see, and I do bump into them.
All right, so Jim, stick around after the show. We'll have a official wind up. But this has been
fun, dude.
This has been a good time. So this is our outro. Does everybody have their cues up, ready to go?
My tab is up.
All right, because this is the time on the show when I say, thanks for listening on the Double R's, the Arcade Radio.
Like us at facebook.com Arcade Radio, or check us out on the semi-regularly updated blog at Arcade Radio. That's RCADERDIO.com.
Yes. Call and leave us comments. Who's that man? Call and leave us comments on the game line. 612-548-GAME 4263. That's 4263 in case you can't spell.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just subscribe on
our
our channel.
I'm afraid that in my weakened condition,
and
I can
click on
take
the
a nasty
notification
spill
bell
down the stairs and
so
subject
when you're
myself to
streamed
proper
live.
school licenses.
You like that, Adam?
I do.
Oh, this is fun.
Ryan, you're next.
Yeah.
I hit subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the notification bell. It's right there, so you know when we're streaming live.
Sweet.
You can also subscribe to our podcast on Anchor FM,
Yeah.
iTunes, iTunes, Google
You
Play,
to drink every week.
and wherever podcasts are streamed. We are about 10 maybe 20 podcasts behind.
You're a little bit behind. Yeah, so that's going to be it for the show.
Don't worry about it.
From everyone on our K-Radio team, we hope you had a great time. And we'll see you on the next episode, which could be next week if everybody agrees.
Maybe.
All right, here we go.
I can drink next week.
All right, yeah. I wish I was on next week.
I'm going to have a crotch light next week.
Jim, you.
I need a glow stick. I broke another window. Dad's gonna be pissed. You want to dance? No.
No. Stop dancing.
Is that it?
Oh my God, that was funny. Oh.